pops up in the corner of my screen.
You'll see it in a second.
All right, it says live now.
Fucking about. What's going on?
Greetings.
Welcome to another episode of Cut the Chat. We're waiting on Femi, but today we got a very, very, very special guest gonna pass through and give us some knowledge. Here's Femi. Hold on.
I'm all discombobulated, fam. I'm under pressure. Do you know what I have to do?
What's wrong with you lot, man?
Lee, lend me that hat now.
You see it there?
Lee, is it every week? Just a new hat?
Come on.
Mad still.
Every week a next thing hat.
Nah, man.
You look like you bought that one from Mrs. though.
Yeah. What are you trying to say? Listen.
That don't fit your head. That looks like that's how I would if I was. That's what it looks like when I watch you wear one of your hats.
Yeah.
Femi, what's going on?
What's happening, man? You good?
How are you?
Femi.
What's good?
Is everyone all right?
Everybody nice, man.
All right,
I'm
cool.
discombobulated, fam. I told you I'm under pressure.
Why are you under pressure?
Bruv, if you see the driving I had to do to get here on time, bruv. Wild.
Hope you didn't break any laws.
Of course not. I didn't run anybody over.
What's everyone been on today? Femi, you been running, of course. That's what Femi does every day. Running.
That's funny. Today's a day.
Running?
Today's a day I didn't run.
What'd you do?
My kids went to school, so I dropped them off. And I've just been working. I've got a music video on Friday that I'm shooting.
Oh wow.
And so we've just been putting everything into place for that.
Go on.
Yeah.
How's that gonna work?
Yeah.
Social distancing.
Listen, the government said, even before the government announced that everyone could go back to work, the government said you can carry out shoots as long as it's a socially distanced shoot. So yeah, so that's what we've been doing.
Really?
Bro, I've got legit insurance and everything.
Go on.
All
So
right.
If I was to cut hair on set, yeah. If I was to cut hair on set and I got linked down with the corona, how much am I getting paid out?
I don't know, bro. I'm not doing an insurance scam, so you tell us, bro.
All right, so we do have a special guest today. Femi, let him know who is coming. He's ready. He's in the room waiting.
We've got Tunde Okewale, who is a barrister. He's like, one of my really good friends. Like, me and him have developed a bond, sort of in the past few years. He's very smart. He's a very prominent person in the community, and he's for Black people. Like, he's someone that set up, like, almost as soon as he became a lawyer, he set up an organization to try to get more young Black people into law. So, like, I mean, there's loads he can tell you about himself, but he's I thought it would be interesting to get him on, because we talk about stuff a lot, and we don't talk about the legal ramifications of stuff. We don't talk about the legal ramifications of protests and COVID-19 and so on and so forth. So it'd be good to get more precise legal knowledge on that, basically.
Definitely.
I think I got a nice question for him still. I'm gonna ask him when he comes online.
I think as well, like there's been a lot of protesting, a lot of marching, a lot of petitions been signed, and the question keeps coming up, like, what is next? What do we do now? So I think that is an awesome question for him. I've accepted him. Tunde, you there? We need your camera on, bro.
Tunde?
It says connecting to audio.
Okay.
Here we go. Here we go.
Here we go.
Here we go. Man, like.
Wow, what's going on?
How you doing, sir?
What, sir? That's the first time you've ever addressed me as sir.
Exactly. He's being posh because we've got company.
I'm respectful, bro.
When it suits you.
How you been, man?
I've been all right. I can't complain.
Is this like a busy time for you?
It's always busy.
But COVID ain't affected you in that way.
No, not really. What's like the social justice stuff that's happening has actually made me more busy, because people are phoning me up, asking me all sorts of questions, trying to get me involved in different debates and initiatives. But COVID didn't really have an impact, because all that happened was that the courts went remote, so they were operating virtually, so it didn't really change too much.
Right.
Only thing that stopped were the trials, so there haven't been any trials, but yeah.
What is it like for you? Before we get into like everything that's going on at the moment, like what is it like for you being a black man in that space? Is it difficult? Has it been hard to maneuver through there? Have you like seen any resistance? Talk to us about that.
Or are you like the Michael Jordan in the place?
Femi will like the cultural reference. I feel like Scorcher in the Intent One.
I don't even know what that means.
No?
I'm just joking.
Yeah. No, but like on a serious note, it's very difficult because what happens, right, is that everyone looks to you to be like, oh my God, there's this amazing guy who's achieved it against the odds. But then you have to be careful that they don't then legitimize it and then say, well, if Tunde can do it, why can't anybody else do it? Because sometimes people will look to like people that are successful that have come from, you know, non-privileged backgrounds and say, well, nothing's wrong with the system if these people are making it. Right. So it's a difficult balance. So it's, you know, good to kind of for everyone to say, yeah, Tunde, you know, you're doing big things. But at the same time, it's not because the system's fair. It's just that I was one of the fortunate ones to be able to make it.
And be honest, you had to probably work 3, 4, 5 times harder than a white person that's doing exactly the same thing as you. You
know, the funny thing is, I did that not even because I had to, it's because I wanted to be the best. Mm. So I wasn't necessarily thinking, I've got to work hard because, you know, I have to be as good as, you know, my white counterparts. No, I was thinking, I just want to be the best. I want to be better than everybody else. Yeah. I want everyone. So I didn't really get into the politics of that. I have African parents. Like the standard for being great isn't anyone else. It's you got an A, you didn't get an A star. You get an A star. Can't you get higher? So, so it's never really been, you have to work harder than your white friends. Nah, they don't care about that.
They just want you to be on it.
Yeah.
When as a youth, yeah, it's funny that you mentioned African parents because I remember being like at least like under 7 years.
One second. Why is Damon so quiet? Is that like, is he actually there? Is that like a holding picture?
It's a cardboard cutout.
I mean,
sometimes you have to listen to you, you know.
Sometimes you gotta listen. No.
Yeah, I mean, gross to what you're saying.
If you did, you guys wouldn't have been losing the basketball games how many times?
Oh, you went there.
We could just lock you off right now and mute your mic.
Yes, you can do that.
Now, what I was gonna say is, as a youth with African parents, I know like it was just kind of a thing to say when you was younger. Like, what do you want to be when you grow up? You will say, I want to be a doctor, I want to be a lawyer. More time, you didn't even know what that meant. You just said it just to keep your mum happy. Like, at what point were you like, you know what, I really want to be a lawyer? And what was it that drew you to law?
I wanted to be an athlete. So my parents were just like, no, face your books, you know, and you're right. It was like lawyer, doctor, accountant, or failure. Mm-hmm. You know, to be fair, like my parents were from the generation that they equated being a professional with money, security. Whereas in this generation, I think parents realize that there are other avenues for their children to be successful and they don't have to necessarily stick to traditional professions. But when I was growing up, it was still that old school mentality that you need a job where people are going to respect you and that they always thought you'd make lots of money. But there are lots of poor lawyers. Not every single lawyer is rich.
How can you be poor and be a lawyer? Tell us.
Easily.
How? Because the assumption is... All right.
So I'll explain it to you, yeah? So there are some lawyers, right, that are predominantly legal aid and they work in the magistrate's court. So if you work in the magistrate's court, you're only going to be making about, what, £50 a day? £50 a hearing? Chambers takes 20%, between 10 and 20% of your earnings. You may have to pay rent.
That makes sense to me, you know?
So
hold on. Rent for
1 second. Someone just messaged me. Guys, your audio is really bad. Mine is good, but your audio is bad.
Really?
Whose audio is bad?
Apparently so.
On YouTube?
It's low, right?
Apparently, there's nothing wrong with mine, just saying.
There's never anything wrong with yours, is there, Tunde?
See, that should be the motto in life, and you go far ahead.
Ace, I think he's low.
Hold on, go on. How can they know it's low if no one's even spoken except Tunde?
Oh, you know what?
I'm gonna check it. Keep talking.
Oh, you know what it is? Oh, you know, I misread it. Like Dean was messaging me telling me that he's not poor, that he makes money. Okay. So I had a lawyer message me saying that he's not poor.
Oh, it's not poor. Okay.
Yeah, he's not poor, yeah.
Not the audio.
Yeah. I hear you, but I'm not poor.
Okay. All right.
So
you just come to first you want to shag the basketball games, now you want to shag the podcast.
Bro.
Oh,
Listen, the basketball game, right? You guys.
Can we talk about the basketball game? Can we do a football game though this year? Because like I feel like man can kick ball. Like
listen,
basketball thing, yeah. It's like man,
you don't have the facilities for that.
You see the basketball thing. Shall I be honest? That's the only time I play basketball every year.
Well, then maybe
for real, boy.
Maybe do some training.
All right, question: how often do you play football?
With my son, like every other day.
Femi, don't let this guy draw you out. I beg. Come on, you're better than that. You're better than that.
Says the captain has never won.
Oh my God.
Hold on.
It's one of them podcasts today.
He's the brother of the captain who just cheats all the time. Okay, we're not gonna get into that, bro. Yeah, let's not get into that.
Let's get back. So basically, Lee was saying that he understood what you meant by rent and this and that and that and that and that.
Yeah, I understood it because I've had that legal aid solicitor before, and I tell you what, boy, he definitely was broke, man. he nearly put me in Feltham. I'm telling you that now for free. He didn't do much. He just told me to do no comment. I was like, bruv, you got to give me more than this. This is not gonna work today, bro. I could tell that it just wasn't working, bro. I said, let me just say what it is. But yeah, he was definitely broke. I can tell.
All right, Tunde. There's a thing that we need to get cleared up. You see legal aid. You see advice. Sorry, you see solicitors that are provided by the police. So you get arrested, you get taken to the station, and you get asked, do you want a solicitor? And obviously it's going to be a duty solicitor. What a lot of people, I think, believe is that if they get a duty solicitor, one that's been provided by the police station, then that solicitor in some way, shape or form is going to be biased to the police. So can you just clear?
That's actually not true, but let Tunde say it.
Yeah, that's not true at all. What happens is that most solicitors, if they do legal aid work, sign up to a duty solicitor scheme, which means that they're on rotation for particular police stations. So if you're a solicitor and you do legal aid, the chances are that there's going to be a day in the month or the week that you're going to be attached to that police station. And if someone attends the police station and doesn't have representation, you'll be the person there to look after them. It isn't something that's set up by the police.
Okay. Listen, one of my best pals, you know Dean, innit?
Yeah, he's the one that's messaging me.
Yeah, so obviously I know that, but for the listeners who aren't really too sure, that's cleared that up. Because a lot of people just go to the police station, I don't want legal representation, believing that when they get out on bail, they're going to go to their solicitor and then the motion's
going to be fair, they could do that, but if you are arrested, my advice is always take the opportunity to have legal representation.
Okay.
So I wouldn't advise, not having legal representation and then seeking it afterwards. I'd say if you have the opportunity to have access to legal representation, take it.
Yeah. Okay.
In terms of like being a lawyer, like we said, there's broke lawyers, there's obviously rich lawyers. Yeah, I think you fall in the rich lawyer categories, but we'll get into that a little bit later on. But what drives you to want to do a lot of this social justice stuff? Because you could just get the big cases and get the big money. Like, what is it? What has drawn you to doing a lot of this stuff?
Everyone asks me that question. Says like, why do you waste your time? Because you could be. I just feel that we have a responsibility. I feel that if you're fortunate enough to have an education, to be successful, whether it's in material terms, there's a responsibility that you help others. So when I was growing up, there weren't the initiatives and activities available. I'm in a position now where I can create those opportunities for others. I do it. It's that simple. And that's how I kind of think that if as a community we operated that way, we wouldn't necessarily have a lot of the problems that we do have. I do genuinely feel that a lot of people that are in a position to help disappear and try to self-preservate because they feel that, well, if they get back and help, either the community will drag them down or someone will try and take them out. I genuinely feel that that's the reason why more people don't do it. But I do feel that it's something that we should just genuinely do. And it's something that other communities do without even commending. Like what I'm doing now, there's probably like a million different examples in different communities, but no one even thinks about it because they just think it's standard that you're supposed to give back.
What are some of the things that you're doing?
So I have my charity Urban Lawyers, which helps people get into law, provides information in relation to legal rights and education. And then I've helped set up a legal justice fund called One Case at a Time. So it's a fund focused on racial injustice. So if you're someone that's been a victim of racial injustice and you need assistance in terms of representation and or funding, we'll be able to help you.
How many of them cases actually come in? Because I'm a strong believer that
the fund is brand new.
Yeah, because
10 days old.
I feel like we've experienced racial injustice forever, and more time we just sit on it, or we don't say nothing, or we just be like, yeah, that's racist, or we just tell our brethren and that's it. At what point has there been a system where we can come and really get a lawyer behind us and basically sue someone or get some justice?
The thing is that there are two issues that the community normally have. The first issue is that there's the knowledge gap. A lot of people don't know how to get help or seek help. So they become discouraged and they don't. The second is that when they're unsuccessful, they give up. Unfortunately, as is the case with any sort of discrimination, when you're fighting for justice, it's a long journey. It isn't something that's going to happen straight away. And I kind of feel that we need to have the patience and we need to engage the system more. I feel that we let the system off the hook by simply saying, well, what's the point of trying to sue them because no one's going to believe me anyway? Or look, now I've lost. There's no point appealing or continuing to fight. I genuinely feel that, you know, for the system to be held accountable, we need to make sure that we challenge it and then we engage at every level. I just don't feel we engage enough. Like, for example, how many of us put ourselves forward to be magistrates? How many of us are, you know, trying to be in the position where we're decision makers? And the reason why I say that is that there's always going to be one or two, but those one or two aren't helping bring the next generation up.
You're right though about that.
You
that whole thing of
silenced
it's not
us,
gonna
boy.
work. No, it's true because I would even think like if God forbid I ever went through something like in my workplace or some kind of racial injustice, I probably would just be like, well, they're not gonna believe me, or like, what's the point? They're not, like, it's my word against theirs, and I would feel like.
But 1 minute. But why do you think that though?
I don't know, and that's a bad mentality to have, and that's a bad mind state. But it's a defeated attitude.
The mind state comes from the fact that Black people feel like the system does not exist to protect them at any level.
Because the system, we feel like the system was never for us.
Like, Black people distrust the legal profession.
Okay,
and not the legal profession, the legal system. Sorry, wrong word.
But Fem, see the thing is, you're right? But the problem with the legal system is that technically, if you looked at it, there is nothing wrong with the system. It's the application of it, okay?
Absolutely.
Who's responsible for the application? The people. If there isn't adequate representation, right, the culture won't change. So my simple solution, and I know I apologize if I'm oversimplifying it, is that if we have better representation at the decision-making level in every single institution, that culture changes. The application of all of, the processes become fairer. Whereas if you have someone now that's making a decision for a group of people that they can't identify with, they're not really going to be as sensitive to the needs and the considerations to take it. Like they won't even be like, with the best interest in the world, they can't. And that's the reason why, for example, you need to be on all the big boards when it comes to, you know, decisions made in your industry. Because if you're not, the funding's not going to be allocated to projects that are going to benefit the community, are they? They're not.
How do we this is the thing, like, that is a great and an ideal world, but how do we get on these boards? If, like,
You apply.
I don't think it's that simple. I don't think it is.
Okay, you know how it is. If you apply, right, and you're unsuccessful, then you can say the system is racist. You can then make all the complaints you want. But if you don't apply, right, that's the reason why the legitimacy of a lot of arguments is lost, because people don't say, well, look, this is the evidence that I've been doing all of these things and it's still not working. Instead, people say, look, it's not worked in the past, therefore there's no point trying.
You know what it is though, Tunde? Everything you're saying sounds fantastic, yeah? And I know there's a lot.
Them shots.
It sounds like the part is coming on the way.
No, it sounds great. It sounds great. I just know that there aren't enough black lawyers, judges. And so how are we gonna change that?
Okay.
That's not changing anytime soon.
Listen, but it can do. So what happens now is that all it takes is for the black lawyers that are there applying to become judges.
And so you think not enough black lawyers are applying to become judges?
I don't think enough are.
Why is that?
Because of that same feeling of discouragement that the A said, well, what's the point? Or that they have applied, they've been unsuccessful, and they don't apply again. So there is this culture that, what's the point?
I spoke to a couple people, yeah, over the last year or so, regarding the police, and one of my
snitching, yeah?
Huh? What did you say?
I said you snitching, yeah?
Rude boy, listen, it's not called snitching when you pay taxes. I'll tell you that now. So one of my good friends, her daughter became a police officer. Black woman, black girl, became a police officer. And at first I just asked her why. Like, why have you become a police officer? A, as a black person, and B, as a black woman. That's probably one of the hardest things to do. And she simply said she wants to make a change. Now, so we had this conversation, because I agree with it. I agree with it 100%. So we had this conversation in the barbershop, and a lot of people still have the attitude of the police is racist, black people shouldn't join that institution, blah, blah, blah. And I'm saying, well, how are you going to change it unless there's more of us representing us within the police force?
I agree with you.
It just, to me, it just didn't, it's just a simple thing. It's just simple mathematics.
See that point that you made?
Be a part of it.
That point applies to every industry.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
We have to engage. We can't then say, well, you know what? I'm not going to engage because it's racist, because you're still going to be governed by that same system. So you can't then turn around and say, well, I'm not going to engage with the system. It doesn't make sense. I had someone the other day say to me, oh, we should all stop voting. and I was confused. I was like, what? He's like, yeah, like, that's where the power is. If we stop voting, and I had to shake my head, because people don't realize, right, that the government and everything you speak about are composed of people.
Yeah.
We just need to become those people involved in the decision-making process. And if we can't be, then we need to be lobbying. So that should have been the call of action, right? During the protest, there should have been specific calls of action saying, we can't go back to how things used to be. We need change. We need the following things being done. That didn't happen.
Is it too late for it to happen?
David Lammy was yesterday on BBC Radio 4 talking about the fact that actually, like, the government have had so many different recommendations from all these different reviews, like the Lammy review, this review, the this one review, and they've just not implemented any of the recommendations from the review. And like, but I feel like the problem with like the protest here, the Black Lives Matter protest here, Like, there's no central figure.
There's not one message. A person, do you think?
Yeah, there's no.
You think it's a figure? I agree with Ace. I think that like.
I think there's loads of messages. There's loads of different
messages.
Loads of
Yeah,
different
but this is the thing. Messages get harnessed by people, right? And there's no central figure harnessing that message. There's no central event harnessing that message. You know, like in America, they know what they have to do. They know what they have to protest for, which is the simple thing is that, you know what, we don't want black people to be killed in the streets anymore. So we are going to figure out a way to stop that happening. That's their central thing. And then everything else comes off the back of that. Whereas in the UK, I just feel like we're having this aimless debate at the moment.
You're right. The central theme should be, we need better representation at all levels in society. That's it.
But nobody is voicing that.
Do you think that we need one face then?
You're voicing it now.
You know what, Femi, this is the thing, yeah. I hear you, but we have this argument. We always make this comparison between the UK and America with everything, with film, with music, and now we're doing it with protests. We're always going to be so far behind them.
It's not about being far behind them, and you're simplifying what I said.
Listen to what I'm saying. Because they've been doing it for so much longer, it's almost like they're seasoned at it. Yeah, this is my thing, yeah. It seems like we in the UK have been protesting. Yes, we're going to say we've had protests from how many years back, but continuously, it's very sporadic. In America, them man were protesting from way before I can remember. So it's within them. For us, the way I look at it, this generation that's coming up behind us now, that are out there with us protesting.
They're on it.
Huh?
They're on it. They're proper on it.
No, you know what it is? It's just solidarity. So once we get the ball rolling and we understand that any form of injustice, we're hitting the streets. We're hitting the streets. It's going to come like.
No, but Damon, hitting what Tunde is saying is that it's all good hitting the streets, right? However, it's what happens after you hit the streets. That's the problem here.
What's the follow-up?
Yeah, like, what's the framework? Listen, lockdown is almost, finished, right? What's the framework that everyone's going to come out into? It's the same thing.
Yeah, but my point is, yeah, you can't expect somebody to start something today and be a professional at it today. So it's conversations like this where it's just like, okay, yeah, what are we supposed to be doing next? Do you know what I mean?
We didn't start protesting, but we didn't start protesting like yesterday. Like let's be fair. There's been protest for like a number of years, and our issue isn't the fact that we're not professional at it. As Femi said, there is no clear, simple message, to the extent that even if you were to ask the general, public that are confused, because there's a lot of confusion about why people in the UK are protesting, and the reason why is because there isn't that clear message as to what it's about. There are people that, genuinely don't have any racist views that would literally say, okay, what are you protesting about? What do you want? And
everyone says something different. Everybody's got a different answer.
Everyone, all it is, no, but I think that is it. Renette Prime, who's in the comments, she's saying that no, actually having representation for Black people on every level of society doesn't necessarily mean that it's a good thing. It's going to eradicate racism. But what I'm saying to that is that, it's a step in the right direction.
Shall I tell you what the problem with that sometimes is the person, and this is going to sound really bad, but sometimes the Black people that they choose to represent us, they're the ones that they've chosen.
Are not pro-Black.
And they're not pro-Black. They're trying to protect their position within whatever system that is. Whether it's radio, whether it's lawyers, whether it's anything. They choose a certain.
Are you one of those lawyers?
No, I'm not saying, but I'm just saying.
Nice indirect, but you're always also missing out. There are certain people that pretend to be for the people, and it's all in the furtherance of their own ambition.
100%.
Okay, now that's our biggest problem. Like, it's not only that the people that they pick, the people that put themselves forward, unfortunately, don't have a clear agenda or a clear message. They just want some sort of notoriety or money for themselves.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
but
frustrating.
the reality is that's life, and that's in every sector. That doesn't mean that that individuals that are doing it for the right reasons shouldn't still keep plugging away and still keep bringing people behind them. That's always going to happen. We just need to identify those people and try and root them out, but still without losing focus and without
Listen,
losing
you
agenda.
say that, yeah, but unfortunately, as a culture, we have a tendency to celebrate people that shouldn't be celebrated.
Like who?
Yeah.
John Barnes.
You really listen.
Okay, I want one example. I just
Listen,
want one example.
Listen, the
John
reason why
Barnes.
I'm not going to give one example, right, is that I'm a lawyer. I'm not. I'm not going to involve myself in any potential legal proceedings because you know me. Once I start, I'm going to have to explain and give all sorts of reasons. So I'm going to, avoid that. That's something we can do with offline. But yeah. There are loads of people like that, to be fair.
There are certain gangsters that are deemed as heroes and man bred them, but when they were about, they do some wicked things.
Listen,
that's real talk.
Femi, I've seen people celebrating the fact that certain people have gone to university, and I scratch my head and think, wow.
No, but that's standard for you. That is a big achievement for some people.
No, you missed the point though. As a community, right? We have a tendency, of not promoting certain things. So we have a focus on only entertainment media. We don't really celebrate our professionals enough.
I agree.
I'm being honest.
I agree.
Okay?
I say that all the time.
We don't celebrate our professionals enough. Like, for example, other communities, they celebrate their professionals more than anything else. We don't. That's why I made the comment that I did before. Like, that should be our focal point.
No, I completely agree. I feel like, you know what, in African American culture, they've been able to achieve a lot because they've got like a very strong middle class, and also like, they really celebrate. They have lots of fundraisers, events, and so on. They've been able to like develop like a multi-layered society within the African American like group. But the problem we have in the UK again is like I was saying to my missus the other day. It's like, Black British people, the problem I have with the phrase BAME, right? We need to get onto that word BAME, like, quickly. But, like, the problem I have, because, you know what? BAME is problematic because it's, like, British, Asian, minority, ethnic, right? But then Black British people are already, like, are not a homogenous group. So if you look at every single one of us on this chat, right? So, like, I was born in Nigeria. I don't know where you were born today, but you're
Nigeria.
Yeah, so we're both born in Nigeria. You've got Lee, who thinks he was born in Jamaica, but was born like you've got Ace, he's from St. Lucia, he's from Ghana. You've got Damon's Jamaican. So it's like, you know what? Black people are in ourselves are not a homogenous group. So how are you then gonna bunch us with every other minority ethnic group in the whole country?
You see, the funny thing is, I agree with you. And I also will go further and say that the term actually shifts focus away from Black people in its entirety. I think it just kind of lumps, the issues that our particular community has with others who have very different, separate issues.
Absolutely.
And a lot of the time, the statistics that you get are often a way of hiding the true disparity that the Black community has.
All right, look,
I completely agree with you.
Look, I agree with that. I said a little while ago that I'm done with this BAME thing. Don't put me in that category for various different reasons that I don't want to upset certain people, so I'm not going to say it. But for me, there's 5 individuals on this chat that are all professionals in various different fields.
Just not basketball. Yeah, keep going.
You know what's mad, Tunde? You're dead at basketball as well. You're not even that nang, bruv.
But Femi, you know the funny thing about it? If I'm still a winner, what does that tell you about life?
See this? This is what they want to happen. They want us to fight amongst ourselves. This is what they want.
Oh, man.
Anyway, look, there's 5 individuals here that, we're not doing too badly in life. We could always be doing better. What are we saying that we need to do as a community to move forward, as a community, as a group of people, to make serious changes for the future generation and for the generation after that? Like, what are we saying? Because we could sit here and drag ourselves through the mud for the rest of the evening about the problems within our community.
It won't happen.
That's not productive. So what are we saying?
We need institutions and good leadership. That's it.
Okay.
And the reason why I say that is that we don't have any institutions at all. When we did, I think that the influence and the energy of the culture was very different. So when we owned Choice FM, it was very different. Like you can go through so many institutions or big brand organizations that as a community we owned. The moment we sold them, it was gone. No offense to the new emanation of Choice, but I'm just saying it's not the same thing.
Bun them. Rival station. Bun that. Sorry.
No, but
it's true though. Old Choice with the lick though, Air Jamaica and that.
Old Choice was very cultural.
Very
Cultural.
Very cultural.
And that's what happens when you have an institution, yeah, which is owned by the community. It's very cultural. It's aware and attuned to the community's needs. We need institutions. That's it. So Ace, get your own radio station.
Boy, you want to invest? I'll start it tomorrow, bro.
Listen, if you got a business plan, let's talk.
But don't gas me, because we'll do this. Don't gas me.
Listen, you say that, but we're supposed to do something last time. It never happened. So
what was we supposed to do?
We're supposed to arrange that dinner.
We were.
See?
I'm new now though. I'm new now. I've dropped out bad habits.
Tunde, you can't see me. Ain't got the hat on no more.
I ain't got a hat on nothing. Like it's new. It's new.
You know what it is? It's that energy why you guys always lose. You see? No dedication, no follow through.
Nah, I'm new, bruv. I dropped the DJ as well. I'm just Ace now. It's just me. That's it.
Fair enough. But like simple things like that. And I also think, I was saying this to Femi, that we need to get out of our comfortable spaces. So we need people that are in different industries to be collaborating and mixing with others. So lawyers mixing with, film producers, entrepreneurs, comedians, everything. But what happens is I feel that as a community, we just stay to our groups, whereas other communities don't. So I just feel we need to kind of extend the network.
Do you know what really sparked me was that what's that guy's name? Sam Cooke.
Yeah, the documentary.
Yeah, Sam Cooke documentary. Yeah. And like he was cool with Muhammad Ali, he was cool with Malcolm X, he was cool with everyone. He was cool with everyone. And like he set up his own record label. He's like, there was just so much he was trying to do. Obviously, in the end, I reckon he got framed. That at least that's what the documentary made.
That's what I think, yeah.
I think he got framed in the end and all of that stuff. But ultimately, the vision he had was so powerful. It was like, I don't know, man. It was like one of the biggest. I mean, it's what, don't you feel Stormzy and those guys are trying, and his Murky team are trying to galvanize the community?
You know the funny thing is, I think they are, and they're doing an amazing job. I can't speak about the collaborative ventures they're doing, but certainly within their space, amazing. Amazing.
You know what? Lee kind of touched on it. Do you think there should be one face for the movement? Should there be one person?
The whole point is that there is no movement.
Okay.
Like for me personally, right? It doesn't have to be a case that there has to be one face. All of us have a responsibility and we all need to participate. When you default into say there needs to be a face, there's a tendency to say, well, that's that person's problem. And then when something goes wrong, you want to blame that person. I genuinely feel that's a collective effort. We can't expect one person, right, to be the face or take responsibility for the community's problems.
But so you don't think there's a uniform message as well?
I think there should be a uniform message. And that uniform message is what I said, representation. It's a simple message. I just feel that we need to infiltrate the upper echelon and be involved in the decision-making process.
And again, like I feel like you've already mentioned it, but I feel like we need to hit the message home. Like, how do we get this representation in all the spaces? Like, what are the moves? What are the steps that we have to take?
So, for example, if you go onto the website, public appointments, the government have a website for public appointments. There's a list of public appointments that you can just apply for and be on government boards. You get paid for it too. And they're industry specific. Sorry, one second. One sec.
Interesting.
I mean, Femi, like in regards to like you being a creative, being a filmmaker, yeah, I'm very sure that you've probably heard this time and time again in regards to why do Black British filmmakers or why there's so many films that just portray a negative aspect of Black culture and Black people. Like, me and you have had this conversation many a time over the years. Do you know what I mean? Just about this kind of stuff, because there's more.
I have it every day.
There's more to us than selling drugs. There's more to us than crime. Do you actually believe? Because I was talking to somebody about Tyler Perry the other day, and I still don't understand to this day why Tyler Perry gets so slated. I really don't get it. Yes, not all of his films are for my liking, and yes, he's dresses up as a woman, you know, in nearly every single one of his films. But I honestly don't get how somebody like Tyler Perry, who, you know, bought his own studio, that's one of the biggest studios in the world, still to this day gets so much stick for making family-friendly films. I'm a bit confused about that. Like,
why are you confused?
Why am I confused?
Yeah.
At somebody like Tyler Perry getting slated so much. Why is he getting slated? That's what I'm confused about.
Because as a community, right, we celebrate the wrong things. Like, I'm not being funny. A lot of the stuff that we create and other groups create perpetuate a particular agenda and stereotype. Tyler Perry deviates from that.
Okay.
So he's going to get criticism. When you're going against the norm, you will receive criticism.
Well,
look. At the end of the day, we spoke about this before, innit? Look at the Yard Caribbean shop. I've never heard anyone say anything good about them. I'm talking about the local pickup one, not the restaurant. I'm talking about the local pickup one. Talking about the behavior.
Peppers and Spice is
always
nice. I
but
like.
you know, but people talk about the attitude. They've got this like, you know,
always
that stereotype.
You know what's mad though? Do you know what's mad about that? Do you know what's really crazy about that? When you go to Jamaica, they got attitude. When you go, this is just normal. This is like this as Black people, yeah. It's like we need to know that as Black people we feel, right? So if a Black woman or Black man is upset with you, they will express themselves. They're not cold, they're not emotionless. And so we need to accept our culture for what our culture is. Because if we went in there and it wasn't that, you say it wasn't authentic.
Oh, so you're saying it's an act today? That's an act.
I'm not even saying it's an act. I'm just saying that when I go into Peppers and Spice, they're not always grumpy with man, innit? Yeah? But when they are, maybe something's wrong that day.
Wait, what Lee's saying is you feel like Black people just complain all the time.
No, yeah, sometimes we're our own hardest judges. But that's how it goes, isn't it?
Yeah, but Lee, I've said it before, yeah. You see complaints, yeah? Complaints are not a problem. You just got to complain to the right person in the right way. Like, I've got no problem with complaining. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you go to a restaurant and you're not happy with their service, don't go home and post it all over social media. Just email them. I guarantee you email them, they'll respond to you, and they will try and fix up the problem that you've shown. It's as simple as that. Like, yes, we are quick to hot up this one and that one on social media and all of that, and those are the kind of things that need to stop. Like, support Black businesses, innit? And not all Black businesses are going to do well, but they're only going to get better if you give them constructive criticism.
All right, question for you, right? Why should we support Black businesses?
Yeah, I was gonna say that as well.
Why should we support Black businesses?
Yeah.
because every other culture supports their own. Yeah.
But if the service is rubbish, why am I supporting it?
No, but this is my point. If the service is rubbish, it's my duty to let you know
Why?
that your service wasn't up to par and how you can do better. You know why? Because I want to see my people win.
No, but why is the onus on the customer to give feedback to the service provider that, hey, you know what, just so you don't go out of business, can you please change these things?
Because I guarantee you, yeah, that the majority of business people don't actually get to see the mistakes that they're making. Do you know what I mean? Like you look, you see, I will cut hair, and I will cut hair to the best of my ability. Somebody could go home and be like, you know what, D, you didn't really do that side too well, you know, can you? And it'd be like, all right, cool. Like, things happen, innit? We're not 100% at everything we do every single day. And the reality,
I'm bored.
like, the reality is, I want to see my people win. And if it means that I've got to email them or drop a little comment or whatever else, then I'm going to do that, bro. All
right. So, see, the thing is, right, I understand your point, right? But the reason why I'm a bit cautious about this philosophy about support Black businesses, right, is I want the community to have a global frame, a paradigm. Other communities that have businesses rely on the economy of everyone else, right? So why do we need to create a business? For example, now, I need to create a business that needs your support? I should have a business that someone from the Chinese community, someone from this group will come and feed into my business.
I didn't say that we should have businesses that are only supported by Black people. I never said that, and I'm not saying that. I don't have a problem spending my money in businesses that aren't Black, as long as they value my custom. Anyone that doesn't value my custom, you're not getting my money no more. Now, this is the thing. I cannot want somebody else who doesn't look like me to win more than somebody who looks like me. It's as simple as that, bro. Do you understand? And you as Tunde do not know everything about law. You don't. You understand? Ace doesn't know everything about DJ. Femi doesn't know everything about films, and we're going to make mistakes. And if I can't look at my brothers and sisters to give me that feedback and to give me that encouragement and to give me that little bit extra for me to keep moving forward, I don't expect somebody who doesn't look like me to do that.
But bro, why? But 1 minute. Why do you have to give that feedback though? I'm not disagreeing with you. Yeah. I just want to know, for example, like, let's say if you're cutting hair and all of your clients decide, you know what, this guy's dead, but no one tells you. Why is it their fault or responsibility that they need to call me to get better? I never said it's their fault, but I'm giving them. Why is it their responsibility?
Well, how else am I going to know? How else am I going to know?
But it's not on. But that's my point. Like, if you're delivering, right, you should have the responsibility to make sure you're delivering service. If you go to a nice restaurant, right,
bro,
they will make sure. How are things? Are you okay? How are you doing? They seek the feedback. They don't wait for you.
You're saying this like common sense. Common sense is not common, bro. You're saying it's like everybody should know how to conduct
A plus B equals C. No, I do hear what you're saying, but today let me ask you a question. Yeah, if I'm a Caribbean guy and I love Italian food. For example, I'm gonna say to myself, I'm gonna open up a Italian restaurant. Yeah, no one's gonna take me serious. No matter how buff the food is, because I just don't think people would take me serious.
All right, I'll give you an example, yeah? I've got a friend who I won't name who owns the biggest Caribbean franchise in Singapore, okay? He's doing really well in Singapore. He's smashing it. Came to England, opened up the Caribbean restaurant in England, went out of business.
Why? Is he black? He's a Black guy?
Yeah.
Wow.
So you're there talking about, he came to do something in, the UK thinking that, okay, strong Black community is going to get the support. No. And when he was going bust, he reached out to all of the rich people within the network saying, I need a fuel injection. One of my investors pulled out. No one put their hand in their pocket to help him.
No one backed it.
Do you know what the thing is though? This is the thing. And this is what I've been saying for the last month. Yeah. That was then. You cannot get at me for waking up today. You cannot get at me for doing the right thing today. If I weren't doing it yesterday, cool. That's then. Yeah, that's then. Right now, I'm moving in that direction. You understand? I'm awake today. So work with me being awake today. Don't say to me, are you awake today? But why wouldn't you awake last week? I mean, don't forget all of that. I'm here now. So let's move. Do you know what I mean? Like, for me, it's just simple. Yeah, it's just simple. As Tunde, yeah, I don't know how many siblings you got. You might have more. I really know you to have Dio. And I'm very sure.
I've got 2 brothers, 1 sister.
Right. And I'm very, very sure if you see any of them doing something that is not in accordance to how you believe it should be done, you're going to let them know. Alive?
Keep going. I'm going to let you keep going with it.
No, it's just a simple question. You're going to let them know, alive?
It depends.
Well, then, you know, I understand that some people need to learn the hard way and bloody, bloody, blah. But right now, as I sit here today, I can't look at any of my brothers and sisters failing or looking like they're going to fail and not trying to interject and help them.
See, the one thing is, right, interjection is great if it's something that people receive. If they don't receive it, then sometimes you can actually create more damage.
Bruv, you don't know if they're going to receive it unless you try.
Guys, I'm sorry to interrupt your back and forth about giving feedback here, but it's going off in the chat. People are talking about Tyler Perry.
What are they saying?
The argument in the chat, is that Tyler Perry's a billionaire, and some people are arguing that Tyler Perry's a billionaire because he wore dresses in that Medea thing. Other people are arguing that Tyler Perry's because he sold out and blah blah, and black men always go to Hollywood and wear dresses. Other people are arguing that Hollywood had nothing to do with that. Tyler Perry had a business model where he wanted to make films for his mom and his grandmother that everyone else was ignoring, and the black audiences were the ones that drove him to his billions.
But Femi, educate him even more, because he actually started with theatre.
He started with theatre, for real. I was going to say that, actually.
Yeah. Let's go back. He started with theatre, and because that was so popular, he started recording it, and then he transitioned into making them film adaptations.
Exactly.
You know, I remember having the DVDs of the theatre production. That's how I knew about him back in the day. Thinking, what is this? It was like watching on Blue Mountain, but American version of the Blue Mountain production.
Yeah. Blue Mountain.
Blue Mountain.
You know, remember that?
Mountain.
Oliver.
I just used to think people didn't like Tyler Perry because his movies sucked.
I'm
sorry. You know, I just don't like his films.
What I understand with his movies is they are decent, but they're just a bit too cheesy and easy to follow. Too easy to know where it's gonna go.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Listen, have you seen A Fall from Grace?
No, I didn't watch that one, man.
Is it the one with the ending that's just mad?
It's the one with the lawyer.
I think I have seen it.
It's brand new. It's on Netflix. You haven't seen it? Watch it.
Okay.
I don't think I could sit down to watch Tyler Perry for 90 minutes. I don't think I
could. Listen. Ola Curvy said Tyler Perry did Nollywood for Hollywood.
Yeah, that's it.
Perfect. Yeah.
That is perfect.
Yeah, there you go, and it makes sense, doesn't it?
And then the other thing they've been talking about in the group, obviously a lot of people are going back and forth about, like, you know, they agree with you. Someone said something funny though. Someone said, like, that's because in Singapore they probably thought your brethrens they'll probably think like your brethrens think bang because they'd think Turtle Bay bangs basically.
Yeah, he would have been like one of few Caribbean restaurants I can imagine in Singapore.
Yeah,
sure.
but again,
the
but the point that proves is that the person might be correct. The food might not have been that great, but fair enough, I've tasted it, so I know it was good. But the point is that sometimes, you're celebrated in spaces that you're not familiar in or with.
Listen,
and what we have a tendency of doing is we want to be in the same place and spaces where everyone knows us. You probably make more money going to a really remote part of this country and having a Caribbean restaurant than being in Dalston or Peckham.
Listen, even Jesus said, that a prophet is never welcome in his hometown.
Amen.
I like that.
Amen.
Jesus was not welcome in his hometown.
Tunde, do you agree with Black Pound? When is it? On the 27th of June, Black Pound Day.
When you say agree, what do you mean?
I mean, are you endorsing it? If you think it's something that can help us, is that something that?
So I'll be very clear. I do believe that we need to improve the circulation of currency amongst our community. Whether or not Black Pound Day is the best way to do it is a different story.
Why isn't it? Why wouldn't it be?
Because the central issue is that we consume more than we create.
Okay.
So the reality of it is that that's really great, but we need to be creating more businesses so that we are engaging with the global economy rather than trying to deviate our money back to the. It's still going to be spent out anyway. It's going to be still spent out. So all that's going to happen, you're going to shift the majority of the money going to, you know, this black shop, black business. But where those black shops and businesses are going to be spending their money on? Who are they getting? Who's their distributor? Who's their manufacturer? It's still going to go out of the community. So you're saying, okay, I'm going to only buy, you know, let's say the sofa from the black furniture shop, but he gets his pieces from China. So I don't understand.
Right.
So
no, Tunde, look, this is my thing, yeah, because I had this conversation the other day, yeah. This is how I look at it. The more we support black businesses, the more we're able to identify more and more black businesses. Somebody like Lethal B, who's had an import-export business for the last how many years, which he generates a lot of money from. Yeah. So in me talking about, I'm fed up of buying hair products from people that don't know about my hair or black people's hair. Yeah. And then obviously the argument is, well, when I go to a black shop, they're charging me a lot more than these hair shops. These other.
Yeah, we need to stop that as well. Asking for discount and then foolishness.
Always asking for discount.
Always asking for discount.
They're a smaller shop. Because they're a smaller shop, it's going to cost them. And my thing is, I'm going to help you grow. The more I help you grow, because like these other shops, them man have started off with one. I remember when them man have started off with one. Now them man have got 6 shops, 7 shops on one particular road, and they branched out all over London. Do you understand? And to me, it's just like, you know, I'm going to help support you. I'm going to keep on spending my money. I want to see you grow. I shouldn't be watching you get another car or get another house, bro. I don't wake up to go backwards. I don't wake up.
Do you know what it is though? Sorry to interrupt you. Yeah. You know what it is? I just feel like thinking about what Tunde is saying. Like Tunde keeps referring to the global economy.
I hear that.
Ergonomics. Sorry, it's them words that I still say with a Nigerian accent. Economics.
Economics.
The name of your school, the name of your university now.
London School of Economics. I can only say it in a Nigerian accent now. I'm being stupid. But ultimately, like the thing is, I feel like as black people, sometimes when we set up businesses, and I found this in my business, we do not scale. We don't think about how we can make our business the biggest business possible. So you see a lot of tech companies, yeah, when they start their tech companies, they are worth zero. They're worth nothing. It's just this guy has got a brilliant idea. And then he goes to hedge funds and he goes and raise big money for these from these hedge funds or like, you know, private equity or wherever. Yeah. He finds this big money and they raise millions and millions and millions. And you're like, what are they raising the millions for? To pay themselves, to pay their staff. But like, I feel like sometimes as black people, because we've been capped for so long, yeah, we always just aim for the one shop. Do you know, like you can set up a hair shop that rivals packs and just get big investment.
But Femi, you see that notion you're saying, yeah, I hear you, but at the end of the day, we don't have no one showing us at that level how to maneuver like that.
No, but
my problem is, let me tell you this. I'll tell you this now, yeah. When as a cab driver, yeah, whenever I speak to another cab driver about his accountancy, for example, and I say, oh, you see when you're paying your taxes, it's a secret. I'm talking to other black man. I'm like, bro, what's like when you're paying how much do you pay for your accountant fee? How much did you pay tax this year? How much? And man's it's all a secret, bruv. Everything's a secret. It's all hidden. And I'm like, well, why can't we communicate when it comes to these things?
I agree with you. That was my point that I made at the beginning. That what happens is that when people make it, they're not sharing.
They're not sharing. No one wants to tell you that. It's like, so when we're at the top, how do we maneuver at the top? Because when the one man that makes it, he's moving dodgy, like you're gonna try to set him up, and it's like, no, I just want to learn. Do you get what I'm saying? But, I don't know.
That is the thing, yeah. But that is the thing, and I feel like I talk to people all the time. People always trying to pitch me films. Take, for instance, people always trying to pitch me films. Everyone that pitches me an idea that is not from my industry says to me, oh yeah, do you think maybe it can go on Netflix? And I'm like, Netflix is like one of the hundreds of buyers that I'm potentially trying to service globally. And at the same time, if you know my industry, you know, like not anything goes on Netflix. Like people think like Netflix is like YouTube. Like no disrespect to YouTube or using it, it's a great platform or using it right now. But like, and like also people like will shoot stuff on their DSLR and then send me the edited version and say, oh yeah, I'm trying to get this on Netflix. It's like people don't, I feel like as a people, sometimes we, even though the information is available, we do not educate ourselves about the biggest version of what it is that we want to do. I feel like actually sometimes there's peer-to-peer information. Like I've been on here talking about stocks and shares. Do you know how many DMs I get about stocks and shares because of Cut the Chat? And I'm like, listen, I don't even specialize in it. I'm just telling the culture what I'm doing right now. Like, and if you want to get into it, like my cousin was messaging me today. I get messages, yeah, at least twice or 3 times a week about stocks and shares. I'm not even an investment banker. I'm not a trader. I'm just saying, like, this is what I'm doing. If you don't want to do it, go and get advice, go and research it, go and do it yourself. All this information is available online. And if you're going to try to do a business, I just think we need to think bigger. We need to try to raise bigger money. And I suffer from that as well.
Global thinking.
Yeah, but look, Femi, Tunde, I hear you, yeah. This is my thing. You see the basketball thing, yeah? So me and Tunde, me and Dayo, your brother,
yeah,
started off at
Regal
in Vauxhall.
Yeah.
What is it? What is it? 150 capacity? Something like that?
And it was me, that said, you man need a stadium. It was me.
No. Wait. Forget all of that. Started off at it started off at 150 capacity. And when we was doing it, you know the amount of people that said to us, nah, that's a dumb idea. Plodded along. First one was good. Second one was a lot better. Third one, for me, was just everything could be better, but it was a great success. Now, me and your brother has learned a lot through those 3 basketball events in regards to raising money, in regards to investment, in regards to investing your own money, blah, blah, blah. Now, we've taken some serious hits, some crazy hits. But we're still plodding along, bro. We're still looking to make it bigger, better. You know, there's, it's something that we believe very strongly that our community needs and the wider community needs. Do you know what I mean? That's more than going raving. It's more than drinking. It's more than.
I agree. Spot on. And
now the thing is, hold on. The thing is, kind of what I was saying earlier, bro. The amount of things that I've learned through taking L's. Of not to take that L, not to take this L. Do you know what I mean? Like right now, I think right now, what is that you're drinking today?
Tea. What's funny?
No. I think right now, from this conversation, even with what you said for me about, you spoke a couple months ago about stocks and shares or whatever, and people are asking you, you don't know everything about stocks and shares, but the fact that you've put it out there and you've given people a different avenue to potentially making money, yes, people are going to come to you because you are the plug. Do you know what I mean? You're that guy. And yes, you don't know everything. And now it's like, okay, I'm going to divert you here. I'm going to divert you there. I think we should just be more open for receiving people asking us for help, for giving help. But you know what it is? I think right now I'm just in the place where I'm just done with the negativity. I'm just done with rubbishing this person, rubbishing that person, and just having more of these kind of conversations to be like, well, what can you bring to the table? What are you? And even I wanted to speak to you about the GoFundMe thing, the GoFundMe page that you set up, Tunde. Just bro, we just need more stuff like that, bro. I think I'm tired. And I'm drained at.
But you see, the thing is, right? It's not that we need more things like that. We just need to engage better with them, right? So, for example, the basketball event that you and my brother, you know, have been running. It's been amazing, but it will be better when more people contribute towards it. There are lots of people that you guys reached out to either play, support, or endorse the event in a certain way, and they didn't.
Absolutely. Bruv, and it's frustrating. You know what it is? So for me, I believe very strongly in 6 degrees of separation. There's not a single person I can't get hold of in this world. And you know, like when I'm asking a man a favor, like, bro, come and help me do this thing. Bro, the money's not going in my pocket. It's to help us as a community. So something good. So then we can do it twice a year, one in London, one up in Birmingham, and then we go international and blah, 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 blah. And it's just like, I'm just looking at these people and I'm just like, you're just failing your community, bro. Badly.
Yeah, you know what it is though, Damon? I get requests, to do stuff all the time,
Mm.
And sometimes I'm like, what, do you think I'm not doing anything already with my life? Because I'm like, do you know what it is? Like, I am sometimes, I'll be honest. I am sometimes, Damon, so overwhelmed by requests, to do things that I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, like I've got a wife and 2 kids to actually like talk. Sometimes I'm in my house, Damon.
Femi, it's different. It's different. You know why it's different?
No, wait. Sometimes I'm in my house, and I'm there all day. In this lockdown, I'm there all day,
Mm-hmm.
And I've not even spoken to my kids and my wife till like afternoon. Because I just been on stuff all day.
I'm not disputing that. I'm not disputing that, but you know what it is? See, when I ask
you know what? But you know what? Now let me respond to Femi, because Femi, that response was very different. You're talking about if someone that you don't know is asking you for a favor, someone that doesn't have any knowledge or direct contact to your life. Me and Damon are talking about people that have asked us for favors, that we've done favors for, that we know either directly or indirectly to assist. That's different. I'm not talking about someone sending you a cold call email. I'm talking about someone that, like, you know, you've seen. This is someone that, you know, will feel no way to ask you for help. But when you're saying, do this for the community, there are excuses.
Femi, you know what it is? You know, hold on. Do you know what it is? You see Notes. You see why I've got mad love for Notes? Because Notes is the guy that said, D, all of you man helped raise me from a youth, Do you remember, Femi, when he's coming into the barber shop and all of that kind of stuff?
Of course.
And he just blatantly said, all of you man have helped raise me from a youth. Whatever you need me to do, I will do it. And he stuck to his word. I'm having conversations with people. Like, as Tunde said, I've done you numerous favors, bro. I can get my missus on here now and she will tell you the times that she's told me don't do that. And I'm still doing it because she knows I'm going to get shagged. And I'm still doing it, And when I'm asking these people and they're looking at me and they're like, if I'm not busy. No, bruv, just commit now, innit? But then what happens, like the first and the second one, and you was there today, I've asked said person to do something, and they said, no, they can't make it. But when they've heard that this person's coming and that person's coming,
then they're coming.
The door, call him man's name to try and get you in. Nah, bro.
Happens to me. Happened last year. I won't name and shame the person, but I asked this person to come and play the game. I'm not in the country. Lo and behold, the person is like, I need to get Tunde. Wow, okay.
But well, that was just my rant, innit? That was just my rant.
I just think, you know, there needs to be more uniformity within our community, and there needs to be more exchange of information within our community. And,
Absolutely.
And because you know what it is? It's like, you know, I think George the Poet said the stat about the amount of black people from working class backgrounds. It's ridiculous stat. I can't remember what it was. Might be like 40% or whatever. And we make up like a certain amount of the population. But like the main thing is with our community is that like because some of us come from depravity, some of us don't have, some of us come from backgrounds. I feel like there's this thing where we want to stunt on each other. But we do that not just with like clothes or trainers or this or that. Sometimes we do that with like, oh yeah, I got more peas than you. And you're like, oh, but how do you have that much peas? Oh, I can't tell you, man can't tell you that, you get me? I can't tell you. Or where'd you get those trainers from? Man, I can't even tell you, cuz. Man, I can't even bust you on that one. So it's like, there's that level of there's so many layers that we need to like shed off. But I suppose the key thing is to be more united, like in the way that we move.
100%.
That's all I'm asking for, bro. That's all I'm asking for. Just a bit more unity. Just a bit more unity. That's all. Tunde, in regards to young Black men and women, you know, with the environment that we're in now, a lot of racial tension, blah 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 blah. Is there any advice that you can give young Black men and women just being out on road? You know, we've had you on before, so we've been over it before, but you know, your stop and search rights, your rights as you know, driving a vehicle, blah 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 blah.
I think that like in this current climate now, we're going to suffer from the invisibility and hypervisibility paradox. So we're going to suffer from people not seeing and taking our grievances seriously, but then we're going to suffer from everyone seeing us when we don't want to be seen. So stop and search, people thinking that we're up to no good. And my advice would be, do not become frustrated, because the way that young people fall into the criminal justice system is through frustration. It comes a point where they're just sick and tired of being stopped and searched, being harassed. Not all police officers, but some will deliberately frustrate you. You'll be stopped and searched. There isn't anything on you. They'll frustrate you. You'll respond in a particular way, and then all of a sudden they have grounds to arrest you. So we just need to be very careful that we channel the energy and emotion that we have for this moment constructively rather than destructively. Because right now it's very easy for all of us to be angry and want to take some sort of action. But I think we need to kind of channel it into long-term solutions that will be beneficial for us. So that'd be my advice. My advice would be, you know, think about things that you can contribute to that can make a difference. Like your local area, right, will have a youth crime prevention board. Join it. There are so many things, right, that people can be involved with. Get involved with your local politics. People like fail to appreciate that all of these things that we look at and, you know, criticize have a bearing on how we live our lives. Be involved in that decision-making process. Start petitions, campaigns. Like we don't think big enough.
Stop there. See these petitions, yeah? There's like 100 of them going around. Could you explain the effect of these petitions to us? Like, what's the point?
So what happens is that,
because people don't get petitions, people don't understand what happens.
All right. So the point of petitions, or some petitions, is that you want that to be something that is debated in Commons. Okay, if that's the type of petition that you're referring to. So you get a certain amount, and then it becomes a point that the government needs to consider and debate. And that's the relevance of having those key points. And the influence of that is that it can lead to the changes in the law and or policy. And that's why it's important. But sometimes the petitions need to be defined better.
Okay.
Just because, you know, having a petition that says free such and such isn't necessarily the best use of 100,000 signatures unless there's a specific call to action. For example, this case is a miscarriage of justice, you know, joint enterprise disproportionately impacts young Black boys. The law needs to be changed so that there's a recognition of, like, we need to be a bit more specific with our call to actions.
Yeah, which is what you felt about the Black Lives Matter thing. And also in terms of petitions, what a lot of people don't understand, like change.org is not a government website.
Nope.
So like, you know, when you're doing petitions on change.org, yeah, that has nothing to do with the government.
Show us trophies, yes, stunting on us. I was thinking, why did he change the room?
No, they're my children's. They're my children's trophies. No, I've never won any. I don't win stuff. That's like for Tunde and them, man. There.
Exactly. You see, Dave, take note from Femi.
I'm just like, yeah.
Tunde, shut up.
I
need some advice, Tunde. I need some advice. I don't know if you can help me or not. I don't know if you saw my Instagram over the weekend.
So what, you want free advice, yeah? All right, keep going. To the community. To the community, yeah? To the community. Wow.
I would offer you a haircut, but you can't grow it. So boy, what can I do?
I could listen. You can do this for me.
I'm about you. I don't know if you saw my Instagram over the weekend, but there was like a carnival outside my house on Saturday night. There was about 600-700 people outside partying in the park till about 3 o'clock in the morning. Big sound system, petrol generator, everything. Now, the problem with this, it was a great vibe. Can't lie, it's a great vibe. Nothing kicked off.
Oh, so you were there?
I lived here. I had my window open. I was there. I was involved. But this is the thing, yeah. I heard the DJ saying on numerous occasions that this is gonna happen every Saturday. Tunde, this can't happen every Saturday outside my yard, you know. It can't, fam. The mess in the morning was a mad thing. Broken glass, plastic cups, bottles all over the place. It's a park right next to my house. Kids play there, bloody, bloody, blah. Now, this is my thing. How can I stop this from happening?
You pay your taxes, right? Snitch.
There you go, for Rodo. For Rodo, that's what you were saying, Holmes.
That's what you said.
That's good advice.
That's excellent advice.
Bruv, I'm looking to call the police from tomorrow and Thursday. Like, real talk, because it's just like, I get it. People.
Why are you trying to spoil black people things though? Why are you not?
That's what I'm saying, man. Let them have their little thing on a Saturday, man.
Spoil
As I
black
said to
people
both of you,
things.
As I said to both of you, let's put it on your road, innit? Let's put it on your road.
Move out of credit.
Hold on a minute, one minute. Your biggest concern is noise pollution, not the spread of COVID-19, no?
Not, bruv. Firstly, I don't even believe in what the government are telling us about that in the first place. So that's a different argument. Yeah. But my biggest... One minute. Are you a 5G conspiracist? No. All of that.
I'm just checking.
I know that a lot of things are happening beyond our control. It's right now, it's irrelevant. But
same as a herbalist.
The noise isn't a problem. It's just the mess after. It's just, look, as I said, it was a great event. Yeah, it was a great event. Very peaceful. Everybody had fun. But every Saturday...
Why do you go out there with a bin liner afterwards and help clean up?
Actually, be part of the solution.
In it.
Be part of the solution.
You know
Always
what?
talking about the community. Why don't you help?
You know what? You're absolutely right. On Sunday, I'm going to go out there with a bin liner and help clean up. Lee, you think I don't know where you live with all of them fancy little plants in your front garden? Okay.
Bring it if you want, you know. Bring it if you want, man.
Cool. What else is going on? You got anything else to talk about?
Talk about Marcus Rashford quickly because he's
yeah, we have to, man. Go true.
I support Liverpool.
Marcus Rashford wrote a letter, an open letter to the government, which is another way that you can affect change. Is like, but you can email your MP, you can email politicians. We're able to do it a few weeks ago for Belly, and like, you know, the CPS are reconsidering that case. We don't know what's going to happen there, but like, you know, you can write letters, you can write emails on all the time to all these different people. Their websites, their email addresses are available all on the internet. But anyway, Marcus Rashford wrote an open letter to the government about the fact that a lot of children are going to be going hungry during the 6 weeks holiday, and the government should provide free meals vouchers for their parents to go and pick up food from the supermarket for them. And like, the government flatly dismissed that petition in that letter. They yesterday, and then today they changed their mind because there was too much public pressure.
And that's a good example. 1 minute. That's a good example of a specific call to action, not being discouraged by an initial rejection and then getting what you want.
There you go. Salute Marcus Rashford. Can you guys get him on the show? Damon said he knows. Damon, you said you can get a hold of anybody. You saying Marcus Rashford Sunday?
I try in it. I try in it.
For sure.
All we can do is try. We got Tunde. You understand? Come on.
You know what? Before we go, yeah, we had an interesting conversation today. Damon was part of it, and it was in relation to this Misha B Tulisa thing. Should we? Yeah. And we actually had Misha B on Cut the Chat. Do you guys remember that in Manchester?
Yeah.
Game shoot.
Yeah.
I wasn't there.
And Yeah, Misha is actually somebody that I've parred with. Like I did a first mixtape, I hosted it and mixed it and stuff. So I've always known about some of this stuff that kind of happened behind the scenes at X Factor and how she felt coming away from the show. But somebody said to us today, I don't want to put his name out there because I feel like people will come from him, that he feels like now some people are weaponizing racism to enhance their own career.
Now, you know what it is? I don't think that's the correct phrase.
Okay, so
but there are a lot of people, right, who are now using the opportunity to speak about issues. I'm not saying this applies to Misha, that they could have done at the time. Okay. Right? And I think that it's not because they're trying to boost their careers, because some of them, their careers are finished, they're not going to come back. But I feel that it's a way for them to be part of the narrative. So sometimes people do things not as a way to boost their careers, it's just because they want to be part of, you know, what's going on. Yeah, they want to be part of the conversation. So I don't think it's done because they want to monetize or weaponize it. It's just because, well, oh, that happened to me too. Yeah, that's how people
the Me Too movement, isn't it?
Well, I didn't say that, but
take that back.
I'm just saying that, like, when people are having conversations, yeah, that there is a tendency for people to want to identify themselves so they can be involved in a conversation. So, for example, if I say, "Oh, I went to Jamaica," oh yeah, I went. Everyone's going to want to try and contribute to it if it's a conversation that appears to be one that everyone is involved in.
Yeah,
I mean. So Ace, what are you saying about the Misha thing and Tulisa? Because
I'll be
necessary to bring out some 3.5 minute long video explaining what she meant at the time.
Can you break it down first before we just start talking about it? Like, everyone should know what.
Lee, you just sit in the house.
Don't you know
what's going on, bro? You should.
Yeah, but my mom's gonna watch it. She's gonna be like, what's going on here? What are they talking about? This video goes to Jamaica, you know. They don't know about Misha B in Jamaica.
Misha B was a contestant on the X Factor about 10 years ago.
No, but what is the X Factor?
Okay, sorry. The X Factor is I have to break that down as well. The X Factor is a singing competition on primetime TV. It was on ITV on Saturday and Sunday nights, and it was produced by Simon Cowell. Do we need to go into that? Simon Cowell is a rich man that likes black girl. Anything else?
Hey!
So
I'm thinking about that part of the conversation that we had.
No, we're gonna go to that part of the conversation. But
okay.
Misha B was a contestant on the X Factor all those years ago, and there were allegations at the time, and it was actually came out at the time. Even Gary Barlow put this in his book, that he could see that the producers were either like feeding lines to make the judges give Misha B harsher criticism, make her look bad. They were using trigger words like feisty and aggressive, and they made the B stand for bully. And Misha B at the time, I think she was like 19 at the time. She was young. She was mad young at the time. And she said, as a result of that, coming away from the show, she has been in therapy ever since. She still goes to therapy now. She had a PTSD. So, yeah, I mean, there's a bigger conversation about aftercare for these shows again, because this is always coming up. Do they actually look after people after they leave these shows? Do they just leave them out on their own? But I don't think Misha B actually said the word racism or that they were racist, and I don't think she even accused Tulisa of being racist. But a lot of people were coming for Tulisa, and racism was thrown out there a lot.
Do you know what? I had this conversation with some people after I saw you, Ace.
That Freudian slip was hilarious.
Customers, yeah.
But no.
I know you're bridging custom. You're bridging custom, not custom. You're bridging custom.
This is what a lot of people said. No, this is what a couple of people said. They was like, would Misha B have had anything to say if she had won the X Factor? So people are coming out saying, well, she only had something to say because she got
It's mine.
Is it your deadline to leave? Do you have to leave us?
No, we good. Let's keep going.
And even that, you know, and it's just like, well, because you lost, you're all angry and you're upset, and now you're trying to draw people out and use that as a diversion tactic. which kind of saddened me because, as you know, Ace, my attitude was, like, as Sunshine Jones just said, you know, with how long it takes people to report certain incidences, the amount of time that's taken doesn't negate this what happened. It does. You understand what I'm saying?
So don't get it twisted. She's been saying this from day.
Bro,
Maybe she wasn't saying it as loud, but she has been saying this from day. Even Gary Barlow came out and said it. So this ain't a new thing. She might not have like gone in depth about the story and what happened, but I've definitely heard her say this before. She said
Femi,
it when
you know Tulisa, right?
I know Tulisa. Not like that.
Them denials, yeah. Before Monday, that's
I don't
my
know her.
preference.
Is she
No,
racist?
I might not even know her.
Not like that. Not like that. I don't really know Tulisa. Like I know more. I went to school with Dino, Dappy.
Is Tulisa racist, Femi?
No, I don't. I can't speak.
You know what's bad?
Her argument was, I can't be racist because my dad lived in the Congo.
That
Did she say he
wild.
lived or he's born in the Congo?
You know what's weird as well? You know what's weird? Only white people refer to Congo as the Congo.
For real, boy.
Oh, you know, like whenever I hear the Congo or the Gambia, that's when I'm like, oh man, drop me up, man.
In the Gambia.
Yeah.
Anyway.
No, but ultimately, she felt this is the thing. This was a lot of the stuff that's happening at the moment. Is that black people are saying, no, I feel like you're being racist to me in this situation. And they're being like, people are gaslighting them and saying to them, no, actually, the way you're seeing it is wrong. You don't know what you're talking about. But you shouldn't, basically, if you've been victimized, you shouldn't, your feelings shouldn't be dismissed in those scenarios. So like, I just feel like it's people like Tulisa coming out and saying, I'm not racist, my dad lived in the Congo, my friends are all black and all of this stuff. It just doesn't, you're better off apologizing.
I agree.
No, but is an apology?
Yeah, but isn't an apology kind of admitting that you maybe are? Oh, yeah, maybe I am.
But you know what it is? Femi's right, because sometimes, yeah, you could inadvertently do something, or you might come across in a particular way. So you could say, you know what? If it's come across that way to you, I'm sorry, that wasn't my intention. This is what I meant by it. Like, we're all human, and sometimes, like, you can do things, you know, without having that cultural awareness or sensitivity.
It's true.
Because like certain times you could be in a particular environment and you might not know the customs and the rules, and you will do things and cause offense. Like if you go to an African household and you don't prostrate or greet the elders properly, they might think you're rude and you don't have any proper upbringing, but you just don't know.
Listen, so, like A Dot
to stay in your yard, fam.
Listen, A Dot tweeted something that I think is really important for us to read out. She said, Tulisa is an example of what happens when we don't interrogate our subconscious. I think she genuinely thinks her attitudes weren't rooted in racism. She doesn't realize how white supremacy has quietly infiltrated her belief system and used her as a foot soldier of oppression. I feel like this is what all white people are going through at the moment.
The only thing I'd say is I'd remove the word supremacy and put privilege instead. But that's just me.
Do you know what? Do you know what's mad about all this white privilege, white supremacy? I think they're such unhelpful phrases. Because white people, they don't look at themselves as privileged. They just think, no, I'm just enjoying my normal life. It's not by the police over here. It's not a privilege. This is my normal life.
You know, I heard something saying the other day that, like, if you were to speak to a fish wouldn't know what water is.
Hey.
I think we can rap on that.
Yeah.
We can. That's awesome. Hey, Tunde,
that's the title.
Pleasure, man.
Ace, that's the title of the podcast.
That's the title of the podcast. I like that. Tunde, it's been a pleasure, my brother. Thank you so much. I mean, people might want to reach out to you. How can they find out everything that you're doing?
Social media, please.
If they've committed crime, what should they do?
Contact my clerks or don't commit crime.
Thank you very much.
We need positivity in the community.
All right, tell me again so I can tweet that caption.
A fish wouldn't know water.
No,
what it is?
sorry.
Hey,
Tunde, say Ace, you just bastardized the thing, man. Get
Man,
out of here.
proper, man.
Ain't that what it
proper.
was?
If you were to ask a fish what water is, it wouldn't know.
If you were to ask a fish what water is, it wouldn't know. I like it. I love it. All right, Tunde, thank you very much. Guys, we'll be back next Tuesday at 9 o'clock. Salute to everybody in the chat room. I saw it popping off in there. Until then, peace. Black Lives Matter.